So like I say, this past month, getting to this new month, not this new month, sorry, getting to this month, we've seen a lot of volatility in the market, the cryptocurrency market, the index market, and the FX market, right? There's been a movement, but I think this week there was no really major movement, but there was a major movement in USD JPY 4 hours time frame, yeah. So before we go into what happened previous week, like making analysis in the market, I really want to touch down again on, based on my strategy and based on the way I perceive the market. Don't forget, everybody perceives the market differently. So one thing you want to understand is that when you learn a strategy, you get to some point whereby now it's going to be a personal decision for yourself when it comes to execution, waking on time, being on time, how to perceive opportunity in the market. So all these things matters, right? So you really want to be on time, right? So it really matters. So before we go into what happened last week, what we think is going to happen this new week, let's touch down on the market structure. So the way I analyze my trade, I analyze my trade based on market structure, right? Gap values, imbalance areas, market structure. So just clear market structure, distributions, supply and demand zone, distribution phrase and accumulation phrase. So, but the two major one I use, especially when we want to spot a trend, because trend is the most easiest thing to trade. You don't want to trade when the market is consolidating. You don't want to force it. You understand? So you want to trade when the market is trending. So when you spot trend on the higher time frame, you know what to do on the lower time frame to look for an entry. So though you still need to look at the section you're executing your trade from, right? So the first thing I get to do is I really want to know what the market is doing on higher time frame. Though I used to come down to 4 hours before, but now I usually come down to weekly time frame, because even monthly time frame I do come, because I really want to see what the candlestick is doing. A candlestick, a weekly candlestick represent 1 week, right? So, I can get what the market is doing at that time. So what happened? Why I come on weekly time frame? Just like last 2 weeks, we had a pullback, a weekly pullback, right? And this weekly pullback alone is a big push on the lower time frame. We can see our market moved on Tuesday, that is last week's Tuesday, Wednesday, even on Thursday, before we see a reversal, market start to buy back. And before we see market dropping back on Friday, that was last week. Last week, I didn't take trade that much, right? So I'm talking about last week. So this was the pullback. So the reason why I took this trade was because we saw this big break of structure, price break above. And I know there was going to be a pullback to test this level that was broken above. So that pullback alone is just for 1 week, right? It's just a weekly pullback. And I came down to 15 minutes time frame to execute a sell. And there was also a buy, because after the pullback rejected this level, we have a zone here that was rejected, right? So I rejected this level before we saw buyers coming in again, right? Same that last 2 weeks. But now, this example here, I want you to see this example here is not a reversal pattern. The market is not ready to reverse. The buyers are not ready to reverse fully. We haven't seen trend in the market. You can actually see trend on lower time frame, like 1 minute, 3 minutes. Those are trend also, right? But checking on 15 minutes time frame is just a daily trend. That means a day trend. You as a day trader, right? So this is not a structure for full reversal, right? This is still bullish. Market has not trend. So at this point, you can see market is consolidating on 4 hour time frame on like 4 hours time frame. You can see this is a consolidation. Price was creating a what? Constellation was just creating sideways. We haven't seen a major BOH price broken below this support level yet. So the first thing you want to be able to do is you want to be able to analyze the chart nakedly, understand the chart nakedly without even you adding any indicator. Understand what the candlestick information and how to understand the chart is spotting the weak volume, whereby price has been trending for a while. We started seeing price creating a weak volume at a particular point. It probably might be a pullback to retest the level that was broken above or broken below before we see continuation, or it's trying to reverse to the other direction. So you want to be able to spot the weak volume. This is something we've talked about, but I just want to refresh the brain again because it's been a while we had a Zoom, right? So now we had this whole week consolidating on 4 hours time frame. Let's come back to 15 minutes time frame. Before we talk about this week, sorry, like I said, I want to talk about the accumulation phase and distribution phase one more time so you can understand, right? So now price have been buying for some time right now. We had this January, February, March, all pushing up. And let's look at where I think since January 2nd, we had the market has been bullish, right? And let's see, January 2nd, if I'm correct. Yeah. Let's come down to 4 hours time frame and look like January 2nd. I think, I don't know, I think it was January 5th, right? So I think it was January 5th, 2024. This was the area. Very good setup. Very good setup. So we can see since January 5th, price has been bullish, creating with what? Higher highs and then what? Higher low, higher highs, higher low, higher highs, higher low. We haven't seen price breaking below this low for you to have a confirmation of full reversal yet. Well, actually, you can catch you can catch this also, but this is just going to be a day trading, but it's not actually confirmation for reversal. So now we had price reversing during January time. We saw price creating a big push, breaking above this level of what resistance. So one thing I want you to pay attention to is that you would always see the setup um, every beginning of the year. Like Nasdaq. I think some other stock market, even US 30, usually every year, annually, they go upward. If you like a swing trader or you are investment trader, like trader that hold trade for a long time, you'll be having a return profit of 8 to 10% annually from like market like Nasdaq, understand? So these are companies that actually want to make profit in real life. So you'll be making 8% from them. So, but how to make the 8% is not just putting your buying the stock at any time. You need to also understand when to buy that stock market. You understand? So that you don't be on a drawdown, understand? So you need to know when to get in to hold the trade for a long time. So we can see that since January, price has been bullish. We had on that day, I think that was on Friday. That Sunday, that weekend, we had I think we had a Zoom call that day, and we had USD JPY analysis, we had USD Swiss francs, we had Nasdaq, we had US oil, and we had GJ, that was the 5 pair. And all these pair actually are doing good right now. Like they are all in crazy profit, like since then, right? So you can see how even investment trading is also good. Holding trade for a long time too can, give you a lot of profit too. You need to pay attention to swing trading too. Is good, understand? But knowing when to enter and exit, sometimes it's hard for day traders. I don't know why, you understand. So you can be, addiction.
Sorry to cut you short. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's up? I can hear you.
Sorry to cut you short. By swing trade, you mean like being a trade for a particular time or
So swing trading is actually holding trade for more than a day, like 2 days, 3 days. While investment trade is holding trade for more than a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, and like as long as you can hold it, that's investment trade. That's a long time. We
a
get.
long time trade? Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So before then we can go. Let's start down on USD francs, Swiss francs, and yeah, let's come down to weekly time frame. We had a setup on USD Swiss francs, and this was the day because I still actually remember this, and my target was actually, hopefully is gonna get to this. We have an order here. It's gonna hit this place target. So checking on monthly time frame, likely see price breaking up with resistance. But then since then it has been bullish. Even GJ, we had set up on GJ too. That we had UJ, the same thing. If you guys remember, we had, I think, a setup from this level. This was January 16. We had UJ and US soy. I think I said about US soy, $18.87 per barrel. So this is $87 per barrel because you can see I was able to even get the actual price. So, and I talk about the reason why, the Hamas whole thing that was going on with Saudi Arabia, that's fundamentally, you understand, that's why I think we're gonna see price hike on what's it called, on US oil. So, but before we continue, my Zoom is going to end in 10 minutes. I forgot to pay for it. Sorry, guys. But now let's talk about the accumulation phase and distribution phase right now. It's just simple. Nothing has actually changed. But what thing you want to do right now is you want to understand that price has to create a pattern before you, if you are trading in, like, you swing trading, like if you want to swing trade for a long time or investment trader, you have to come to traders and to chart like weekly, daily, and 4 hours, right? To look at what the market is going to do, right? So now if you day trader, at least day trader coming to 4 hours time frame and going to 15 minutes time frame, this is something you know already. But the same pattern that happened in lower time frame is also the same that happened in higher time frame, right? There's no difference. The difference is the time zone, like the how long it takes before the move is going to complete, right? Or before it gets to your, you know, target or touch your stop loss. So let's talk about accumulation phase. This is a very good example of accumulation phase, right? Price declining at a particular point. So we've been seeing prices be trending for some while right now. Let's use this as an example real quick. So we see price creating a lower high and a lower low, a lower high and a lower low. Like I said, and I've said before, once you see price creating a 3 consecutive, you probably know that there's a weak volume at that point. It will probably see reversal. So the reversal will probably not be as long as you want, like depending on how many pips you targeting, right? So you want to pay attention of the amount of money you're risking. So the amount of money you're risking is more important on that than the amount of money you're targeting. Just take note. So, so that because it's not certain, you understand? So you have to is not certain. So like the target you're hitting is not really certain. You don't really know what will happen. But just because you've been in the market for some time, you were able to analyze the trade, you understand what the pattern is saying, so you can be able to perceive opportunity, right? So though if you want to execute a trade, all you got to understand that your risk is so important, because that would allow you to stay in the market. You understand? You will not feel any type of pressure. You will not get out too early. You will not, trade like impulse trade. You will not have to do impulse trading. So now you want to understand when market is reversing at a particular time. If the market has been buying, you have to see what a true consecutive. This is basic, but it's also important. So just like how we used to use a trend line for some time, when we draw a trend line from the body, it must touch at least a tree. So something like this, right? And once the trend line is broken and retested and continued, that means the whole trend has what is done, right? This is basic, right? This is basic. It doesn't work all the time, but still, it's also something you want to pay attention to. So knowing how the structure is so important, that you want to know if the market is going to create a new high, right? Now we had this a while here at a particular given time. Now price, create a new high, but did not close that above. But that doesn't indicate a trend, meaning a reversal trend. You have to wait and see a 3 consecutive. So this is the first high. We have a lower high, price breaking creating a break of structure, BOS, coming back to retest that level. This coming back to retest this level. If you're an experienced trader will actually take an entry here, right? Because we saw this candlestick closing below this, right? Now, but for you to have a raw confirmation of the trend, is you have to see a 3 consecutive price creating a lower low and a lower high. This is actually 1, 2, 3. You can see since then price was trending. But at a particular point, we saw price reversing back. So now the reversing back, usually you would see a accumulation phase, especially if market wants to buy, right? So now price is buyers are trying to get into the market again. So we saw price creating a support level, which is the low, right? Now we need to wait. Now the problem is that through my experience, I feel like it's not the execution. It's not like we don't know the market structure or everything. The waiting is just the most important thing. Is that you have to learn how to wait. Sometimes if you don't, you can wait a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month for a particular setup to happen. Yeah, it does happen like that, you understand? So the waiting is so important. That's why you need to have patience, you understand, to wait and see this structure and to give you a confirmation. It's better for you to do nothing than to just execute a trade without having a clear view of where the market is going to go, right? So we have the support level here. So for we to have a clear direction, we need to see price creating a lower high and a higher high. So we saw a low here. Price created a higher low. This candlestick information closing above this one here. We saw price creating a higher high, breaking above this resistance level. Coming back down, we saw this rejection, price creating a liquidity, touching this level here, this support level here, but closing above. We finally saw price breaking this resistance level. But before the trend comes in, what did we see? We saw the last point of supply, price coming back to respect this level here, right? So we have this resistance level that was broken before. Price came back to and create a lower high before continuation. So you need to understand that this is the weak volume, right? This accumulation phase is the weak volume. So this kind of setup, you usually see it on lower time frame. So anytime you want to take an entry, you need to see a weak volume. You understand? For you to execute a trade, you need to see a weak volume. So what weak volume is this? Price has been selling for a while. We saw price creating a what? A break of structure, creating a lower low. But normally, if trend should continue, we need to see price creating a what? A pullback, respecting this level over here, meaning this level that was broken before, and continuation, right? But nothing like that happened. We saw price creating a what? A lower high. And the second time, we saw price creating a lower high again. The third time, we saw price creating a lower high, creating a higher high. So this is giving us a decline information of sellers in the market. This is a decline information of sellers in the market. So this is an example of a accumulation phase. So accumulation phase is when buyers are trying to get in. So looking at it in the turning it upside down is distribution phase. So you need to see the same setup. So look at this distribution phase 2 here before we see this wholesale. But this wholesale was not a long time before buyer came in again. So now, understanding the terms distribution phase and accumulation phase is important, right? So now price is what giving us a all-time high right now on Nasdaq. Does that mean we want to sell? No, there's no confirmation. We need to wait to see a distribution phase for a trend, right? But we can actually still catch some entry on lower time frame, 4 hours time frame, or lower time frame like 15 minutes time frame, 5 minutes time frame. But still, with the whole last week, there was no direction in the market. But what should we do? All we can do is to wait till we see a what a direction. So we have 1 minute more for this Zoom to end. So I would send the link again so we can join and continue the Zoom. So like I said, there is no distribution yet. There's no reversal yet for sellers right now because we have not seen price. We have not seen this candlestick information breaking this level yet. We didn't see this candlestick information. You can see, I need to zoom it very well. The current price we have right now is 18. So like I was saying before, it's so important for you to wait for the structure. So now, if we are looking on weekly time frame and we are looking for accumulation phase and distribution phase on weekly time frame, just know you're about to swing that trade, right? You want to swing that trade. If you're looking for that kind of structure on weekly time frame, you know you want to swing that trade. If you're looking that structure on daily time frame, know that you still want to swing that trade. On weekly time frame, you want to position like investment trade, right? For a long time. When you're looking at daily time frame, I would still say the same thing, investment trade, you're trying to hold for a long time, right? And daily time, 4 hours time frame, you're trying to swing the trade for a week, probably 2 weeks, 1 week, right? While you're looking like 1 hour, you're trying to day trade, right? You need to understand, right? That you're trying to day trade the particular instrument. So looking on a weekly time frame, if you see a structure like that on weekly time frame, knowing that, oh, this is weekly time frame, just know that that is a very strong setup. And all you got to do is to just follow the trend. You understand? You don't want to go against it. So now, understanding the structure is important. But what the hard work is that knowing when to enter and exit. So that is where you create a routine for yourself. You understand? So that is where you create a routine for yourself. On this particular topic, we are going to repeat it, again and again till you get to understand it. I will do the work and you will do the work too. I will remind you and you will have to remind me too, because, someday you will be doing a Zoom and I'll have to see what you have learned, right? because that is the way we have to grow. Because yeah, someone have to come, you and I have to come and show me, oh, what particular thing you did today and this and stuff like that. That is the way. And the other thing is communication. I understand we need to learn how to communicate. I don't know, but you understand, we need to learn how to communicate, right? I'm communicating. If you want to, I'm communicating. There is no question you ask me, or if I want to ask you, you have to answer, this is why we are here. This is because we want to learn. We need to learn how to, communicate. You understand? You don't have to go elsewhere and start communicating. You have to practice it. You have to do it now, because someday when you get to learn the skills, the only way to sustain it is to teach. That's the hard part you don't really know, right? You think the only way you can sustain it because you want to keep it for yourself, but you still have to teach, right? Now you probably teach your brother, you probably teach your sister. Maybe you don't want to teach a group of people. You probably teach your son, you probably teach your daughter, you probably teach your relatives, people who you love. So that's where the growth goes. So if you don't learn this communication right now and trying to understand the level you are right now, and you would have a hard time understand, because now you have to, the things you should have done right now to get those confidence, you have to do it again later, right? So now it's all about mastery. You understand? It's not about perfection. So now we still want to go back to it. Like I said, the weekly time frame, when you see structure like accumulation phase, I hope you understand what I mean by accumulation phase. If you don't understand, I can touch on it again, because these are the two major structure that you would always see. Spotting the weak volume. Every weak volume is accumulation or distribution phase, right? Spotting the weak volume. So it's so important. So right now we have a weak volume here. You understand, right? We saw price creating a what higher high and a higher low, higher high and a higher low, right? Before we saw price creating a higher low here, what happened? We saw price selling for some time, create a weak volume. What I mean by a weak volume, we have this sub push right here that broke below this level of support. But usually what happens is that you have to wait for a pullback. A pullback is also retracement, whereby price need to come to touch that level that was broken below, for a continuation. But what did we see here on this particular candlestick formation? We saw this candlestick creating a weak volume. First of all, there was no a continuation of this candlestick for you to know that sellers are staying in, right? Before we saw a retracement again, price created a new higher low, right? Lower high, if I'm correct, before we saw price creating it. So this is a decline at this point. This is a decline, right? So if you see something on weekly time frame like this, or you saw something like this, you should be ready to, look for entry on a lower time frame to execute our trade. So the structure market is important to understand when the market it's forming a structure. So right now, let's talk about the present. We are analyzing from the past, right? Let's talk about the present now, right now, and let's be realistic. So realistic, have we seen a confirmation for reversal? No, we haven't seen a confirmation for reversal yet. So the only time I get to sell last 2 weeks was because of I saw a reversal, a weekly reversal, a weekly candlestick reversal is actually a big push in lower time frame, and we can calculate the pips. This all move from last 2 weeks, right? This is about 400 or something pips, right? So we can see price. This is a weekly reversal, price, and not weekly reversal, weekly pullback. So this one candlestick represent 1 week. So we saw price creating a pullback and retesting this level. So I knew after that break of structure, price created a higher high, right? On weekly, if you come down to daily, this is the level right here when price created a resistance level. I knew we're gonna have a pullback. But on that pullback, is going to be a big push on lower time frame. So now that I see that, okay, we are going to have a pullback, what did I do at that time? Knowing that there was no trend yet, that is, there was no sell trend yet, you understand? There was no full reversal yet on weekly time frame, because that's not a confirmation of reversal. Don't forget, we have to see distribution freeze, you understand, before we have to sell. Distribution freeze is when market has been buying for some while, and we saw price consolidating, creating a what? A high, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, and lower low, 3 consecutive times. That is an insight of price is about to trend in reverse, right? So what happened again? When I saw that price created a higher high there, that candlestick, this weekly candlestick broke above. I came down to time frame like 4 hours. I saw the same thing. This whole thing has not happened at that time, right? Came down to 15 minutes time frame, and let's back this back to 2 weeks. So at this point, I want to turn on my key zone. So let's turn on my key zone. So the key zone indicator is actually a section separator. It's not actually something that give you a signal. It's actually a what? A section separator. But same that key zone, you would see a what? If you pay attention with the way I've teach you before, you would get to understand how to use the key zone with your own with strategy, the kind of strategy I use, sorry to say. So now, last 2 weeks, after price created a higher high, right? This is the higher high here, this point, right? So let's say this is the higher high here, this is the higher high here, right? So what happened here? We saw price created a distribution freeze. So this is a decline at this point here. This is a decline. So this resistance was here. We saw price creating a lower high, but we haven't seen a break of structure completely yet, right? We haven't seen a break of structure completely. So what will happen here? We saw price creating a weak volume, getting to the London section. I don't like to take my entry during this section, right? My entry is usually Asian section. And this particularly was on Monday, and I don't trade on Monday. I like to trade on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. You know, if I don't see entry during those days, I'll probably just leave it, right? So what happened then on Monday? On Monday, give me an insight of what Tuesday is going to do, right? I get to see what Monday has done before I analyze the trade on Tuesday. So on Monday, on this particular day, which is on Monday, 4th of March, we saw price declining. So that is the pullback I was talking about, the sell pullback. This post sell here was that weekly pullback. So what happened? We saw price breaking this level of support here, right? We have this previous New York. You understand? We have a previous New York here. So paying attention, you know, I used to say once that previous New York is broken below, it means that price will likely want to reverse. I usually say that. So you can see Asian session came to reject that level. You can see our price buy first, right? So we can see the Asian session have not broken that support level. So there is no signal of sale at this time during the Asian session. So we saw Asian session buying a little bit to the London session. But finally, what did we see? London session. That's why it's so important for you to understand those section. I just want you to always pay attention to those section. Show up every day. Pay attention to those section and how they move. And you can see what other section did. We saw price breaking this support level. Yeah, right. This is previous New York support level. So what happened again? We saw a pullback. Price came up a little bit back, and we have a New York session that opened. We finally saw price creating a lower low during the New York session, right on Monday, right? But this whole move at this point here is kind of crazy, right? But not really crazy if you know what you're doing in the market, because now at this point, price has created a high. What are we looking for? Is 3 consecutive, right? A lower high and a lower low, lower high and a lower low. and what lower high, right? This is the third one. So at this point, you should be looking to execute your trade. So now this is the third one. So because on Monday I don't take entry, what happened? We finally saw full break of structure. So now price broke above this level of support level, right? And what did we see on Tuesday? We saw a little bit pullback during the Asian session. Now price started creating a lower low and a lower high during the Asian session. And now we saw what happened again during the New York session on the 5th, which was on Tuesday, same Tuesday. We saw price creating a crazy 400 and something pips just one day, if I'm correct. I think it's about 400 and something pips. I don't know if I'm correct. Okay, 400 pips. This is a 405 pips, just one day. So you can see that only pullback, weekly pullback, give us about 400 and something pips, right? Respecting this level, yeah, we have zone, we have a key level area price came to respect. So now, what happened again? Same Tuesday, we had a decline. You understand? So for we to intraday and investment trading is different. Investment trading is you're trying to hold for annually or couple of 6 months or 3 months, right? So you go into higher time frame, weekly, daily, or 4 hours to position your trade. Day trading is actually you having a amount of stop loss and what even position like investment trading, you still have to have amount of stop loss. But when you trade a position trade investment trading, your stop loss can be bigger. So it's going to be bigger. You understand? It's going to be bigger because of the key level you want to put your stop loss at, right? The stop loss is usually going to be bigger. So, but when you're having you doing a day trading, your stop loss is not going to be that big. Highest you want to go on your stop loss on Nasdaq is 30 pips, right? So now, since you're going 25 pips, like I told you, like if you're getting started and you really don't know the amount of pips you want to have for stop loss, go 25 and target 100. Be consistent with that for some while before you start before you start increasing the stop loss. Go for 25 pips stop loss and 100 pips target. So with time, this is a time stop, right? With time, you will be able to increase the stop loss and not the stop loss, the target. But if you do that, like by having a 25 stop loss and 100 pips target, it's consistent, like it can become addictive, to you. And that's a good addiction because now it's calculative. You'll be able to calculate the amount of money you made on the day and trading like that. So and you will know the amount of money you want to lose even per week. If you lose 3 times, you will know that okay, I lost 3 times and I've lost just 75 pips per week. And I lost 2 times and I made one, I gained about 50 what 50 pips per week. You understand? So it's calculative. So you can see what happened during that pullback on Tuesday. This is on Tuesday, right? We saw those pullback, like the finishing from on Monday, Tuesday, that weekly candlestick you saw I was talking about. But same Tuesday, we saw decline. And I want you to pay attention for that decline, right? You understand? So this is a decline, right? Yeah. Knowing that at this point, you should have even exit at this particular point. Yeah. I would have exited the trade even before the price continues selling, right? So I would have exited the trade because what happened here was that we saw price creating a pullback.
Mm.
You understand? Now, we saw price creating a pullback. Usually, after that pullback, what we usually see is continuation. But you can see our price create a continuation here. So at this point, I would have exited the trade. I would have exited the trade at this point, right? But then I exited the trade earlier, even I didn't get to this point. So I'm just giving you a signal for you to know how to exit properly. You understand? When you see something like this, though you can also have exit by this time because price was creating a wall decline over here. But if we should calculate the amount of pips you're targeting, and let's say you have your entry during the Asian session and you're targeting 100 pips, you understand? So what this is about 170 pips from Asian session to London. So you have you got your target for the day. You understand, right? But still, if you have confidence, like you think price is going to, just like I said, the weekly triumphant candlestick is going to come down and touch that level that was broken above, right? Retest that level before continuation. So you would what? You would want to hold the trade more and see what price is going to do. So for me, usually what I do is that after I see price, creating a lower high, if I'm selling a lower high and a lower low during the Asian session, at some time before the New York session, if I want to hold the trade for New York session to finish the trade. So what I do usually, I mark up a previous Asian high. So let's say we have a high here. And one thing you can see, this high we saw, this is a Asian high, right? You can see that London high did not break above, right? You can see price came back and touched that level. At this point, this is a very strong resistance level because price came to respect that level 3 times. You can see the first touch, price came to touch it. London session came to touch it. London session came to touch it again during the New York section. We saw price closing below. At this point, you will be confident to hold the trade, bow, market meltdown. So it's easy to talk about it. It's sometimes mentally, psychologically, it can be hard. But when you have your target already, you can just as well leave this alone for you to, have an experience, for you to learn from it. Maybe next time you'll probably see the kind of setup. But when you have the target already, your 100 piece, you should be out for the day. So now, same Tuesday, we had a decline, after price has creating a weak volume. At this point, we have a weak volume immediately, right? You want to exit the sell, right? Still, we saw price creating a weak volume again. What at this point, how did I get the weak volume? Is because we can see this momentum right here, right? There's a very big momentum. One thing you need to pay attention to is that the first momentum, the second momentum needs to be bigger. So you can see right here on Monday, we saw this little push, right? On Tuesday, during the Asian session, we saw this push. Usually, Asia don't really create big momentum, right? You can see during the Asia, there was a momentum. And what happened? We saw pullbacks and we saw this New York momentum, right? At this point, what will happen is price need to create a pullback. If we're going to see more sell, what will happen is we're going to see big momentum again for continuation. But as an inter-trade trader, this amount of it is enough for you. Just wait and see what the market is doing. You need to understand you are trading intraday and is within 24 hours, right? It's inter-trading. If you have 200 pieces for a day, it's big. It's big. It's so big. Where some people are just targeting only 20 pieces for a day. You understand? And you gain 100 pieces. It's a good stuff, right? So we have a decline on that day. If you on your RSI, you click your RSI and you'll be able to see what I'm saying here. There's a decline, and you can see we have a decline. Yeah, but I usually like to spot the decline with my high because the decline of Asia, New York session is going to tell me what New York is Asian session is going to do. So I have a support level here, right? This is going to be a support level here, previous New York support level. You understand, right? So I need to mark it up. So at this point now, during the Asian session, before I take my entry, I like to see what the previous New York do. Since we have a decline during the previous New York, we will likely see Asian session buying, right? So we need to wait for the Asian session to actually create its own structure too. So you need to wait for price to create a little bit of a low, higher low and a higher high. So when you see price creating a low and price creating a higher high, it means, okay, we are seeing a continuation. So the same way we talk about the accumulation phase, don't forget, it's the same way you want to see it when you're taking an entry. So it means you're trying to spot a weak volume. So at this point, we saw this pullback here. We have a previous New York support level. Price did not break this level here, came to create a pullback. And if you didn't take your entry here, you can also take your entry here. Let's say you have your entry at this point here, because this is the third one for confirmation, right? This is after the first, let's say during this section. Now we are ignoring the previous New York. Let's say during the Asian section. Now this is going to be our support level, our what? Higher low and higher high, a higher low and a higher high. Let's say this pullback here. Let's say we have our entry here, right? And we are targeting 100 pips. So, wow, it's good. And we put our 25 pip stop loss. Now, let's say we put our 25 pip stop loss. 25 pip stop loss is going to be, let's say, yeah, right? And we can see price did not come down to that level, right? So now that is how you want to do it gradually. You want to be able to have a consistent kind of trade so that you'll be able to stay long in the market right now. So now once you target that 100 pips targets, you're done for the day if you are trading intraday. But if you're swinging, you probably might get stop out if you have a 25 pip stop loss at this point. Don't forget, right? Because that same day on Wednesday, price came back and sell. You understand? I took the sell actually because now, like I said, for me to enter my entry during the Asian session, I probably need to see what the New York is doing. You understand? So now on Wednesday, that is what I did. I actually saw prices declined already. We saw weak volume at this point. There was no continuation for that buy. Usually, if price is going to continue buying at that point, we would see a pullback, and so we will see a pullback and continuation. So if the Asian session want to continue to buy, it usually need to break the previous New York. So at this point, price created a decline weak volume during the New York session on the Wednesday. We saw price creating a lower high, and a lower low, and a lower high. This is the third one here, right? First, second, and the third. This is an insight of price is trying to reverse. Don't forget, this is an intraday. So my target is 100 pips and my stop loss is 25, right? So if I want to take an entry, I did take an entry actually, I would want to mark a previous New York support. So this is going to be a previous New York, right? This is major one, but we still have a little previous New York at this point. Yeah, at this point. Yeah, right. So we have a little bit of previous New York. Yeah, right. So if you can't see it clear, you need to go to 5 minutes time frame. So you can see price came to test that level. And if we have our 25 pip stop loss, it's usually going to be around this level. Let's say we have our entry here and set 25 pip stop loss. Let's say 25 pip stop loss around this level here. And let's say we have a 100 pips target. So 100 pips target, this is even more than 100 pips, this is 106. 100 pips target and price came to respect that level. You can see we actually even have a support level here. This is the previous New York support level. And what we see there, price did not close below, you understand? And we saw this major move, you understand? So you'll be wondering, oh, I got 100 pips, but this whole major move has happened instant. I missed this major move right now. So what is this move actually? This was actually the price trying to create a what? After the pullback of the weekly time frame, is going to create a continuation. Right? This is actually the bullish continuation we were seeing, right? But then you have to stick with your type of trading. So if you're missing out a big push, it doesn't happen. So far, you have your target of your particular amount of pips you target, understand? So sometimes you will leave a lot of money. A lot of time you leave a lot of money on the table. But before I go, you can actually see there was a decline before. Like that's why I said every week volume, you will always see an entry in a week volume. It's how you support the entry. But before we go, we have 10 minutes more. I want you to use ask question. Is there any question you want to ask so far? So basically, this is actually for Nasdaq. You understand? This is the style I trade on Nasdaq. When it comes to other instruments, I actually analyze them differently, and I analyze them differently based on market structure. But when it comes to Nasdaq, because Nasdaq is volatile and its movement is different from other instruments, I analyze it differently and its own strategy differently. That's why I even like to trade it more than every other pair. And I even advise people to, just stick on one. But sometimes you would not see movement, the kind of movement you want on that particular on that particular instrument. All you got to do is wait. You got to wait. And if you can't wait, or maybe you're trying to trade, you just gotta look for other peers. But my advice is actually just wait. That should be your holiday. That should be your vacation from the market, and use it to relax and do other things. So with that being said, you can ask me a question. What was the question? Is anybody with a question? So we all
Well,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm clear with the
Okay, clear with it. So
I'm clear with the
can I
question.
ask,
Yeah.
are you getting it right?
Just a quick question. I'm going to ask, like, do you use this inverse scale most of the time?
Inverse K, yes, I use it because sometimes you can be blind in one direction. So for instance, if you have been buying for some time and you can get addictive. That's why addiction can come in different way. Don't get me wrong. So now let's say for instance I've been buying, I think market is going to be bullish and I've been in buy position for some time. You find out that psychologically you get addictive to just that buying position and forgetting that sellers can come in the market too. So sometimes what I get to do is that I get to do an invert scale to understand that if I want to sell on that trade, how does it look like? So let's say now price we are selling on this position right here, right? On this Tuesday, right? And I think, okay, you know what? I'm not getting it clear. I will do an inverse K to look at it in a bias direction. And what does this mean? This is very looks so good in buying. Like if I was to buy, it's looking very bullish too, right? Same thing, price create a support level, create a higher high, a higher lower high, a higher low, sorry, and price create a higher high, the third one, three consecutive, and we saw break of structure, the pullback, Asian section entry, amount of target, and power. So I'll see it the same way. And if I get the inverse K, if I look at it with the inverse K and I see it the same way, that will give me more confidence to execute that trade. I hope you understand now.
Oh, yes, sir. Thanks.
So, Finesse, are you with us? Like, do you have any question?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just listening.
Okay, cool, good. So now we have like 5 minutes more, and I really want to really analyze something real quick. Oh, look at this kind of setup on Wednesday. Look at this setup. This is crazy. And you can see this is something I was talking about, right? So we have this old decline. Actually, this last 3 days, Asian session was kind of blurry, but there was actually movement. If like let's say we have this is not almost up to 100 pips before the market reversed back, right? But if you were on time and you took the buy right here, you will get 84 pips, which is cool. Not every time you get the 100 pips target. You understand? So that's why 100 pips target is going to save you a lot sometimes when the market is consolidating, because when market is consolidating, you might likely get stop out, right? So we have a sell here too that happened during the Asian session. But if you have a sell here, let's say you have a sell position here after price broken above you might likely get stopped at this. You might likely get stopped at in this target. Let's say you have a 25 piece, you might likely get stopped at, and which is cool. It's normal. You can take loss sometime, right? It's part of it. But this kind of trade right here, now this one here, right here is decline, right? You can see price has been selling for some while, and we saw price declining, creating a weak volume. Buyers are coming in. This is sense. You understand? Like I said before, we taking an entry during the Asian session. We want to really know what the New York do, and we want to see. So if I should buy here, I will mark my previous New York support level. We have a little bit of support level at this point here. Okay, and we have another support level here, right? Now this is a decline for the previous set. You understand? So we think price is going to buy a little bit. So what happened here? We wait for a pullback. Price need to create its own structure during the Asian session. We saw a higher high, higher low. At this point, let's say we take a buy at this level here, right, and target 100 pips, right? Yeah. What happened during the New York session? We saw even price breaking above and shooting up more than 100 pips. And if we have our 25 pips target, and this is where the 25 pips is gonna be. It's gonna be, let's say 25 is going to be here. So you need to understand the timing. So the timing is so important, very well. So now let's give example of this new week, right here, week. Though market closed previous, you can see the weekly time candlestick closed. The closing, the candlestick closed above here. This candlestick formation closed above here. We have 3 minutes more, so I want to be quick about this. So now, what did we see here? Like, I want anybody, just Victor or now, just give me an example of what are you seeing right here, just in a short form, just be quick with it.
We see price accumulating.
Okay,
Like
accumulating.
this is an example of like accumulation trade there.
Okay, yeah, example of accumulation phase. So right now, this is like a weak volume right here, right? Price has been selling for a while right now, right? And we are seeing price trying to accumulate in the stand. So what do we get to do right here? We'll mark the previous New York support level, right? This is going to be the support level, right? The price, if price should break up below this level, we know price is declining. Price will likely want to continue to sell, right? So don't forget, we have a resistance level here that needs to be cleared out. So now during the Asian session, we want to see how the Asian session creates its support level. So now something like this, we want to see how price is going to come up and create a break this resistance level here. We have a resistance level here, right? So we want to see how that Asian session is going to create its support level. So now what are we going to be doing? Right here, we're going to mark up our 25 pip stop loss. Let's say we're taking an entry after price is broken above this level here, coming back to retest that level, and we're targeting a 100 pip target, right? 100 pip target. So this is going to be our 25 pip stop loss, right? And this is going to be 1 to, at least this is almost 1 to 4 risk to reward ratio. And we need to wait for price to create that structure. So what do you want to do? You need to wait for price to create that structure. But mind you, we need to see price breaking. We need to see price creating that structure first before we execute the trade. So every session tends to create its structure. But the moment you wake up, just because an Asian session opened 2 o'clock and you wake up at that particular time and you're trying to execute your trade, no, it doesn't work like that. You have to wait for the session to create its own structure. So we have 1 minute more for this Zoom to end. So I still think weekly time frame is kind of bullish. We still have a bullish momentum before we see before we see what is going to happen on Tuesday. But for Monday, since I don't really trade on Monday, I think market is likely going to buy first. You understand? With my insight, with what I'm seeing, and the same strategy we've been using, weak volume, price likely going to buy a little bit before we see the drop. So we have a major previous New York session that is needed to play out. But for my take on this, we need price. Price is going to likely break, we will likely see price breaking above this level. I think price is going to buy a little bit. So that's my take here. And I hope we have a profitable week. So if there's any question, you can just chat me on the chat.